This is ABC15 Mornings.
Accused of ripping off his own department. A former Valley sergeant busted in a case exposed by our ABC15 investigators.
The case is rising. New confirmed coronavirus patients in our state. Why Arizona health officials are now changing their approach to the virus.
Rallying for raises, but not their own. Why teachers in one Valley school district are demanding changes and transparency. We say good morning to you on this Sunday, fun day, 6 o'clock. I'm Nohelani Graff. We have plenty we want to get to this morning.
Yeah, and I'm Justin Pizzera. Wrong way drivers, it is a problem that we deal with all the time here in the Valley.
Too much, yeah.
This weekend, unfortunately, is no different.
And that brings us to our breaking news this morning. Thankfully, though, technology doing exactly what it's supposed to do before anyone was hurt. The wrong way detection sensors in action, alerting DPS troopers overnight of a driver going the wrong direction on the I-17. You can see the huge police response off to the right there. DPS telling us that driver was going south in the northbound lanes near McDowell on the I-17.
The man was able to correct himself, but troopers were able to catch up with him, stopping the driver with a pit maneuver near I-17 and Camelback. He was arrested, now facing DUI charges.
Now let's get to that most accurate forecast, help you plan for the day ahead. Maybe you're going to early church services this morning, or you simply are waking up and you just want a nice cup of coffee.
It was still kind of breezy this morning. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Nice yeah.
Not as strong as the winds that we saw yesterday. Now they're just kind of keeping us cool and mild. This morning, we are a little bit warmer than we were this time yesterday, but as we get closer to 7 o'clock, that temperature is going to dip right before sunrise, so that'll take us back into the 50s. Then we rebound into the 60s by 8 a.m., low 60s by 9 o'clock this morning. So still enough that maybe a nice cup of tea or a hot cup of coffee will do this morning. 60s in the morning, but then this afternoon we warm into the 70s, noticeably cooler than yesterday, but still a gorgeous day on tap. I'll talk more about that and have that statewide forecast for you coming up in just moments.
Developing this morning, a 2-year-old is dead after a car drives off the road and onto a Valley sidewalk. So this happened Saturday on Hated near Doubletree Ranch in Scottsdale. Police telling us the little boy and his family were walking when a driver lost control and jumped the curb.
Pedestrians are up on the sidewalk where they belong. This sort of thing happened. We don't know why, and now a young life is lost.
Started CPR on that child after the crash, but he later died at the hospital. Both parents are okay physically. Investigators tell us the driver did stay on the scene. Right now, a motorcyclist is recovering after a pretty bad crash overnight. Phoenix police telling us the motorcyclist was trying to get around cars on 7th Street and Baseline, but ended up crashing. They were taken to the hospital in critical but stable condition.
Tracking the latest on the coronavirus now, the governor of New York declaring a state of emergency there with now dozens of confirmed cases. And this morning we are learning that one of the people infected there is an Uber driver. So that means that the cases overall could jump in the coming days. And this all happens as Florida is now reporting its first 2 coronavirus-related deaths on the East Coast. Both patients had recently traveled overseas. Meanwhile, back here in Arizona, the number of cases also growing. State officials revealing there are now a total of 4 patients with active infections. The 2 new patients diagnosed on Saturday, they live in the same home in Pinal County, and the woman who was diagnosed on Friday also lived in that same place. Health officials are still trying to determine, though, where she caught the illness. They say it could be the first case of community spread. The 4th person recently traveled to Italy and then to Florida before making their way back home to Maricopa County. County health officials do tell us the goal at this point is no longer to stop the spread of coronavirus, but simply to slow it down and keep enough healthcare workers healthy enough to be on the job.
We are no longer going to keep healthcare workers home after they are exposed to COVID-19. We're asking them to monitor themselves daily for fever and symptoms of the illness and stay home if those symptoms develop. As long as they are not showing symptoms, we need them in our healthcare facilities.
With new developments every day on the coronavirus, we know it is a lot to track, so we're trying to make it easier for you. We have put all of the latest information in one place on our website. Plus, there's a map that you'll find that is tracking every confirmed case in the United States. We also have tips for prevention. You can find it on our website. Just head to abc15.com/coronavirus.
Developing this morning, the head of Arizona's Department of Public Safety is planning to step down. Sources telling ABC15 that after leading the department for 5 years, Colonel Frank Milstead will be leaving to take another position in law enforcement. Exactly what that position is at this point, we don't know, but we do know that the deputy director will be filling his role when he does leave. Now, Colonel Milstead has made a lot of headlines in his 5 years as the head of DPS. He's been a strong advocate for troopers and has fought to get additional staffing and training across the state. Back in 2018, he did convince Governor Doug Ducey that a public safety fee should be added to vehicle registrations to support DPS, but that fee has gotten a lot of pushback, or it did. It is being eliminated in 2021. There have been a lot of questions about the number of high-speed chases as well, and freeway shootings involving troopers. His expected replacement has been at the center of some of those chases. Some of those cases are still working their way through civil court as well. And most recently in December, Colonel Milstead had to apologize after he was caught by a Yavapai County Sheriff's deputy going more than 90 miles an hour. Colonel Milstead has had the support of Governor Doug Ducey throughout the years. We are expecting to learn a lot more about his decision to step down and the future of DPS on Monday.
We are following 2 crime alerts for you this morning. Both involve robberies at 2 different Circle Ks. So first, take a look at this video. There's a man who targeted the store just off the I-17 and Glendale Avenue. You see, you get a pretty good look of him right there, and police say he pulled out a gun while stealing cigarettes and lottery tickets. But investigators are hoping that the tattoos on his arm there are going to help identify him. Also, this next man, he's a little harder to recognize because you see he kind of keeps his hands over his face there in the blue jacket and the beanie. He was robbing the Circle K at 7th Avenue and Baseline. We're told he also showed a gun to the clerk while demanding cash. But we get a little bit of a glimpse of him there. So if you recognize either of those men, you knew those tattoos on the first suspect, you are asked to call 480-WITNESS. Remember, you can remain anonymous, and your tip, if it leads to an arrest, could earn you a cash reward.
This morning from the ABC15 investigators, a Valley SWAT officer facing criminal charges accused of stealing from his own department. So his name is Sergeant Wentz Arvalo, and he recently retired from Glendale PD while under investigation. It's another black eye for the department that ABC15 investigator Dave Biskobing has been looking into for more than a year.
There was a single theft charge submitted in the case, and it's a case insiders have been telling us about for months. Worried about Glendale investigating one of their own instead of kicking it out to another department. This is Sergeant Wentz Arevalo. He's a Glendale officer of 24 years on the SWAT team and well known for leading active shooter training.
Because you want to be prepared when or if the incident happens.
In fact, he's been featured in multiple videos for Glendale's public television channel.
We're that last layer of security, but again, you probably won't even see us around.
But police and court records show Arevalo was also working multiple off-duty jobs while on the clock at Glendale PD. 2 of those jobs include teaching classes at Arizona Christian University and even traveling out of state to conduct shooting training at Louisiana State University, as shown by this LSU Facebook photo. The case began because of an anonymous tip and looked at a 2-year period. The total amounts Glendale says Arevalo stole, 74.5 hours for $3,666. Glendale submitted the case to the county attorney's office for charging consideration on January 27th.
Do you have any discussion?
5 days earlier, Arevalo had his retirement approved by the city pension board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
We requested records for this investigation 2.5 months ago, but got nothing. But after we learned Arevalo had just been arrested, we reached out to Glendale this morning for comment, and they finally released the reports. Now, we also asked why this investigation only went back 2 years and not longer. A spokesperson wrote, "Our officers conducted their investigation in accordance to the information they received from the anonymous tip. The educational institutes were only able to supply us timesheets for the past 2 years." Now, we want to know if more taxpayer money was wasted outside of those 2 years. So we'll continue to investigate and look into how Glendale didn't notice one of their top SWAT officers was working multiple outside jobs on the clock. I'm investigator Dave Biscobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
Volunteers out early yesterday planting fresh flowers along a mountain trail specifically built for Arizonans for disabilities. The Pennyhow Trail in North Mountain Park is the only trail in the area considered accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Arizona Sustainability Alliance wanting to make sure everyone has a chance to enjoy our beautiful mountain hikes.
And so the city has actually redone the walking route for the two parts of the trail. And then we're also going to be creating some benches and some shade structures as well.
You know, besides being beautiful, the flowers will also hopefully attract pollinators like hummingbirds and butterflies, which have been affected by urbanization.
And you know, you can actually go to the state park's website and they'll show you, if you want to see the wildflowers, kind of where they're popping at national and state parks around the state.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because you have noticed probably, I know I have, driving around, we are starting to see those little pops of yellow and orange out there.
Means the allergies.
And that is true too. Not everybody thinks it's a welcome sight. In fact, those allergens are high and they're going to stay that way today. So right now we're in the 60s. Later we warm up into the 70s. We have a lot of events to choose from on this Sunday. The McDowell Mountain Music Festival is continuing today in Phoenix. We've got the Fan Shield 500 NASCAR event in Avondale. Renaissance Festival happening in the far southeast corners of the valley, and our temperatures are going to be a lot more mild than we saw yesterday. We make our way into the 70s by lunchtime once again, but we only warm into the mid 70s today. So it might be more comfortable if you want to get out and mow the lawn. We still have just the slightest chance for a stray shower, but I don't think that we're really going to see it this morning in the valley. I just have to keep the chance in there for a sprinkle, but I don't think we will. So if you want to mow the lawn, go for it. Get it done by tomorrow, because Tuesday and Wednesday we're tracking some storm activity that's moving into the valley and across the state. I'll map that out for you coming up in that full most accurate forecast.
What is our plan, right? Like where do we go from here?
Well, teachers demanding change and transparency, the answer they want from one Valley school district. Debris
Dangers turning into a scary reality for a Valley family. We've got a safety alert in our Operation Safe Roads report that could happen to any one of you.
And a $1,000 security deposit is a lot of money, so when you move out and only get $100 or so back, you'd be pretty upset, right? One man's story and what you must do before renting anywhere.
In your Operation Safe Roads this morning, imagine driving behind a trailer that's loaded with furniture. I feel like we've all been in this situation before. And then this happens. A couch comes flying off right at your car. That's exactly what happened to a family that was driving on the I-17 on Saturday. The couch hitting the rear back window, just shattering it, sending shards of glass flying, even hitting a child that was sitting in the back seat. Thankfully, we're told that the kid's going to be okay, but really scary moments for that whole family and probably for the driver up front too. That's why securing your load is a topic in our Operation Safe Roads that we have covered before. According to DPS, there's about 1,000 crashes a year involving debris that's fallen from moving vehicles. ADOT saying you've got to make sure that you have the right equipment like cords, rope, straps, all when you haul those large items.
If you go buy a mattress, a guy in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, each with an arm out, that's not going to fly.
Not only is it dangerous when stuff falls off your car, your trailer, it can also be pricey. You can get a fine anywhere from $460 to over $1,000. And if you see anything laying in the middle of the highway, I think we've all been there as well, you should call 911 so DPS can come clean it up.
Arizona is growing. Of course, that's really no secret. From new highways to new homes. Right now, some development companies are looking to annex property outside of Prescott, adding new construction, which would then give them access to the city's water supply, causing the city to rethink its water policy. Mayor Pro Tem Billy Orr says annexing lands outside of Prescott to provide water is the city's responsibility. But others say the responsible thing is to focus on the environment.
People are going to move here. They're going to move out in the county. We know they're coming. So we just need to grow in a smart, manage it, not let it be just crazy out there in chaos.
Well, every bit of water that we draw out of the Little Chino or the Big Chino aquifers to feed growth in the Prescott area is a drop of water that isn't going into the Verde River.
Well, our partners at Cronkite News speaking to residents who say it is about balancing growth and groundwater preservation.
You know, if you do want to head up to the Prescott area, today would be a gorgeous day to do that. It's been nice and cool up there. I think it's going to be cool here too, but you know, you can still see a lot more of that greenery.
I just went hiking last weekend in Prescott. Out in the forest over there.
There's so many great trails to choose from.
Stunning.
Yeah, and it's going to be really nice up there today as well. And now would be the time to do it ahead of a storm system that is going to affect the high country as well. So clouds and radar overnight showing us a fast moving storm off to our southeast that's still working its way out of our state, bringing a lot more clouds across the valley as well. So we are waking up to more cloud cover this morning. Here's the live view of clouds and radar at this time. So you can see just the last little remnants of that storm down to the far southeast there. It tried to kick some moisture into the valley here, but it never actually made it to the ground. So that's a good thing. And I think that it continues to clear out through the middle of the morning here. So then we definitely are staying dry after that. Temperatures right now also a little bit more mild across southern Arizona. 62 in Tucson right now, 57 in Safford. We're sitting at 62 right now in the Phoenix metro area. Even to our north, it's a little bit more mild to start the morning. 48 degrees in Payson, same temperature up in Sedona. Up in the high country, still very cold if you're up in Flagstaff, but 35 is a lot easier to deal with than the teens and 20s that we've seen as of late to start the morning. City by city here in the valley right now, we're seeing a lot of 50s, upper 50s out in the West Valley, 58 in Glendale, 56 in Surprise, Wickenburg and Buckeye down in the low 50s this morning, but it's a little bit more warm out in the Southeast Valley, 60 in Gilbert already, 62 in Queen Creek. We've got upper 50s in Fountain Hills and Apache Junction at this time. If you're heading out to a spring training game this afternoon, gorgeous baseball weather for today. It'll be much more cool than it was yesterday. So I know if you were at the games yesterday, hopefully you put the sunscreen on because I bet your shoulders are a little pink this morning. So this afternoon, we're in the 70s by that first pitch at 1 o'clock. We stay in the low 70s through the middle of the afternoon. And as those games round out, we're still in the low to mid 70s. 74 degrees is that forecast high across the valley today. So I think we'll hit that in Goodyear and Levine as well as Chandler and Gilbert. Mesa also warming to 74. Scottsdale and Glendale just a little bit cooler at 73. And up in the Deer Valley neighborhoods, you're warming to 72 degrees today. So just gorgeous weather. And we'll see more 70s to our south, 73 in Casa Grande, 76 out in Yuma, and up in Bullhead City, we're in the low 70s. Up in the Verde Valley area, where we're talking about maybe you want to head to Prescott for the day, 57 is their forecast high. So certainly still a little cool up there, but I think you'll have mostly sunny skies, so that'll be nice for the afternoon. It'll be just a degree warmer than that in Sedona, and north of the rim, a cool day up in Flagstaff. 47 your forecast high, 51 at the Grand Canyon, 55 in Window Rock, but I don't think that we see as strong winds as we saw yesterday. Tomorrow, the temperature is a little more mild up in the high country in Flagstaff in the low 50s, but come Tuesday and Wednesday, we're looking at rain chances Tuesday and then snow showers possible by Wednesday with those overnight lows tomorrow morning taking us back down into the 20s up in Flagstaff. Futurecast showing us we stay clear here in the valley. The clouds will work their way out by this afternoon as this storm system continues to push off to the east. And then as we head into your Monday, more sunshine and dry conditions. And then things start to change as we hit Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Our strongest chances for rain are Tuesday and Wednesday with thunderstorms possible on Wednesday and those rain showers still working their way through the valley on Thursday. I'll show you how long it'll take us to start drying out coming up in that 7-day forecast in just a little bit.
Well, teachers protesting for pay raises, but not for themselves. How they're moving forward after getting the change they demanded. And the greenest day in the desert is almost here. The best place to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the valley. That's coming up.
So the greenest day in the desert, really across the country and across the world, is almost upon us. We, of course, are talking about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody's going to have to put on their green, right? We have Callan, the 2020 Arizona Colleen in studio. First of all, we have this big Irish festival coming up Tell us, what about the Arizona 2020, Colleen? What exactly is that?
Yes, so it's an Irish Heritage program for girls ages 18 to 28. We also have our junior programs for girls as young as 6. And it's just bringing together amazing young Irish women in our community to kind of represent Irish people throughout the year. I was very honored to be chosen this year.
So we know that St. Patrick's Day is on a weekday coming up this year, so that's why the big festival, it's a parade, it's a fair that happens, that's all happening next weekend. What's your favorite part?
Ooh, I think my favorite part is the Irish dancers.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And we actually have some of the girls this morning who we're gonna watch them in a couple of minutes, but I do wanna ask you guys, because I feel like we see the Irish dancing all the time, and you guys make it look really easy. Is there like a tip when you first start out, like, of what the focus is? You're supposed to stay up straight, right?
Well, there are so many things involved in how you Irish dance to do it correctly.
Right, yeah.
But when you start, the basics are to point your toes, smile, cross your feet, turn out. There's so many other things, but Irish dancing is an amazing.
So I just want everybody to appreciate that when we see them dance, because they're going to make it look a lot easier.
I think you'd
than it
probably see a
actually
look of
is.
frustration on my face when I was trying to do it, right?
Right.
I would not be able to get it. So what should somebody expect when they come to the festival?
A good Irish fun. So it's very family oriented. That does not mean there won't be Guinness. We're all about the Guinness over
It
the
is St.
Irish
Patty's
community.
Day, let's be honest.
But we'll have marching bands, we'll have Irish dancers, singers, musicians. Myself and the junior title holders will be around so that everyone can meet us as well.
I love it. We're watching some of the video from last year's event, so it looks like such a good time out there, right?
And our own Craig Fooey, our sports director, is always a part of the parade. I think he might have even been the Grand Marshal last year, or one of the officiants. So he's always a big part of that. So we do love it. And then it's the parade happens in the morning, and then it's the festival, and that happens right at Margaret Hance Park.
It does, yes. So the parade's at 10 a.m. and it's going to start on 3rd and Sheridan and head southbound to McDowell. And then the fair actually does start at 10 as well. So if you want to get in early and grab your Guinness, and then it'll be going till 5. And this year we're on the other end of Margaret Hance Park, so just on the other side of the bridge.
Perfect.
I think we want to watch these ladies dance, right?
Absolutely.
We'll kind of step out of the way. And
We're going to let you take it away. Cue the music.
Break, ladies.